kind of like screwed right off. I'm not really sure what happened to that movie. It's kind of crazy.
The poor reviews failed to convince moviegoers this was worth a trip to the theater. Considering it was released in the midst of an ongoing global pandemic, that was a major issue. Anyone who did want to see Snake Eyes, and that was probably a low number, most likely waited until it hit streaming. As a result, domestically, Snake Eyes couldn't even recoup a third of its production budget.
Damn.
While overseas numbers were stronger, they couldn't save this snooze fest from becoming a box office bomb.
I have given my life to this clan. I have sacrificed everything.
Tommy.
It is my blood right.
Number 44,
Wait.
Valerian and
Birthright or Bloodright? You said Bloodright, I think.
the City of a Thousand Planets. It's a sad bit of irony that the most expensive European and independent film of all time is also one of the biggest box office fails of the 2010s. Yeah, we're looking at you, Valerian.
Yeah, there's a time for everything, kid. Don't you have homework to do?
Never seen this movie. I know of this movie, but it just kind of like it came and went. I remember this movie's trailer like one time, and that was it. I saw the trailer once.
While the original comics inspired much of the sci-fi genre we know today, this long-awaited film adaptation came way too late for anyone to care. Instead of fresh or nostalgic, the City of a Thousand Planets just looked generic. Evidently, most people agreed, with the movie struggling to connect across the globe.
There's no time to lose. The Cortex jellyfish is extremely fragile. Show it images of Valerian, and it will show you what it has seen.
Sure, but how?
You have to put your head down to your shoulders.
With a budget around $180 million, not even the dazzling special effects could hide the financial losses.
That sucks.
Number 43.
But thank you for the likes, guys. You guys are amazing.
A
Thank you for
final
the likes.
tally north of $150
Thank you for the
is
likes.
pretty
I
darn
really
strong for
appreciate
an
it.
adult skewing
Thank you for the likes, guys. Thank you.
biographical drama. The issue is Deepwater Horizon had the budget of a summer tentpole.
Noah Green says yeah, no problem.
Hmm. Okay.
Noah Green says thank you for
To
being
break
so
it down,
cool.
a blockbuster
Hey, I
is supposed
try.
to have broad appeal to mix
Don't
with
consider myself
large
cool,
price
but
tags.
thank you.
Deepwater Horizon, however, did not. Apparently, almost 70%
Okay.
of its opening weekend audience was over the age of 35.
I think the
They
head
left
is a little
satisfied,
bit,
but
just
it
a little
wasn't
bit
enough to
more
mobilize
clean.
other demographics, which doomed Deepwater
Let's move to
Horizon to the
19
choppy
masks. Is that
waters of
follow?
box office infamy.
Yeah, it's Silk Song.
At the very least, it can dry its tears with its pair of Oscar nominations.
But it is from Hollow Knight, if you're wondering.
Number 42, Mickey 17. A sci-fi comedy with not just one, not just two, but 17 Robert Pattinsons sells itself. Add in Oscar-winning director Bong Joon-ho, and Mickey 17 should have been the must-see event of the year.
It's only gonna get worse from here, Mickey, with a nice fever, too. Truth is, you're exposed to unthinkable levels of radiation right now, which is why we sent you out in the first place.
Let's walk the 19 said
So
cool
what happened?
South Park
Well, the
reference.
movie may have been a few degrees too weird for the general public. That wouldn't have been too much of an issue if the reviews were glowing or the budget was kept in check. Sadly, neither of those happened.
Well, I wasn't pressing that stupid button. It wasn't Mom's driving either.
There we go.
How many times I gotta tell you?
Mickey 17 isn't a bad movie by any stretch, but with a break-even point somewhere around $250 million, it needed a lot more buzz to avoid losing money.
Looking good, Mickey. Yes, sir. Okay. You stand there, arm around, please. Great, good. Big smile, Mickey.
Giant bird ting.
Great.
Number
Giant bird.
41, Gemini Man. Before the Oscar slap heard round the world, there was a good argument to be made that Will Smith was one of the last true movie stars left in Hollywood.
I was the sheep.
Take it as a compliment.
Now, what if there were two of him? Paramount Pictures probably thought it would double profits. But that only works if the movie is actually good. Gemini Man is not. It's only worth seeing for some neat special effects. Otherwise, it's a contrived, boring mess that ended up costing its studio upwards of $100 million.
Damn.
Yeah, well, it's been a rough
I think
night.
I think that was the moment where Will Smith's image started like crumbling a little before it, because I think right after Gemini Man, or I think it was between either Gemini Man or what do you call it, the Suicide Squad. I think what it was I think after that, I think between these two movies, that red table nonsense his wife and his daughter was doing is where everything went left. I think that was the moment everything went left.
As it turns out, double the Will Smiths doesn't mean double the money. If anything, it cuts it in half.
And I believe that. Do you know how that made me feel?
Number 40, Dolittle. It's not uncommon for A-listers to take some time off blockbusters to do some personal passion projects. Usually, though, they end up better than Dolittle.
Got the round tree? Huh? Let's have a look where we are now.
That's the spirit, John.
Even though Robert Downey Jr. was coming hot off of Avengers Endgame, bad reviews proved to be the one thing even this doctor couldn't cure.
I think the biggest problem, I think that's a giant curse.
Wolfer19 said, do you have any way of learning dynamic poses? I
Yeah.
usually draw landscapes, draws that look good, and when it comes to me, I say I am Legend and S Squad.
Yeah, I usually do. I hope my mic is not overpowering or peaking, but yeah, I usually do. How that works is I have a YouTube channel that explains these things all the time. You can check the YouTube if you like. It might help you out. I have a video coming out next week. Here the screen, past 2 minutes. Okay. Yeah, I have a channel that's coming out in the next week about composition. So, because I'm trying to teach my students about the 8 fundamentals. I think we're on number 6. I think we're on 6 out of the 8 fundamentals. We did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think we're on 6, and then or 7. Wait, it's shape, gesture, form. No, it's shape, form, gesture. Oh no, it's balance. I gotta teach balance. I may have to do that one, but that's gonna be really short. But it's shape, form, gesture.
What Rick said, Bot
Balance.
says correctly joined the channel.
Foreshortening, perspective, composition, and proportions. Yeah, we got 3 left. We got composition, proportions, and balance. Those are the last 3. And then after that, I'll be doing more, I think, advanced stuff to teach. I'm just teaching the basics. So if you want to get those basics now, they're in my YouTube channel, my playlist. So just check that out if you want. If that helps.
And unfortunately for RDJ, this particular strain comes with a rare, career-ruining side effect.
See, this is the thing about when you join a superhero franchise. I think anything that's like a franchise from a comic book or a manga, or I don't even say manga because we don't have like a lot of anime adaptations here in the West, and I don't think that's going to be happening anytime soon, given how like these movies are being produced. I think Netflix is only the one that's doing that right now, but only successfully because of One Piece, but that's very rare. So I'm not even going to count something. I don't even call it superhero from that point. It's something different. I don't even call it comic book either. The problem with the whole like superhero genre, when you end up being an actor and you join a superhero franchise where you're only known for that one thing and only that one thing majority of the time, it's going to be very hard to transition to anything else. I think that's a difficulty. So, like, what's funny is, like, if you're a person who's in the Marvel Cinematic Universe and you play one character or something like that,
Kofi Streambot said visit
I think the
Artextric's
best
page
thing
out.
to do is just typecast yourself in other comic book or superhero adaptations. I think that's the only way, because when you try to transition to anything else like drama, horror, or anything under the sun, it really doesn't work out for majority of most actors because it's hard to see like Hugh Jackman in anything when you just see him as Wolverine.
Said I've never trust Western adaptations, especially since the Dragon Ball incident.
Oh yeah, I understand. I gotcha. I totally understand. Like the Dragon Ball incident was wild to me. Like I remember that came out back in what was it, 05, 07? That shit was crazy. But like the point I'm saying is like I think the problem is when you associate yourself too much. I think what you should do as an actor is like
Jackson Dobbs said smiling face with smiling eyes emoji.
Be more seen
Noah Green
for
says,
other
all
stuff.
right, I gotta go.
Alright, Noah, thank you, bro. Thank you for the likes.
Noah Green says, have a wonderful day.
You too, bro. Thank you for coming. I appreciate you. Hope to see you again. But yeah, thank you. But the point is what I'm trying to get at is like, I think
Noah Green says, no problem.
So I think what most actors should do is get associated by other things before they start showing us superheroes, like for shows, movies, or in case may be.
L02 said he's streaming again.
So that's pretty much what that is. You have to. I think that's the best thing because once you start doing everything but that superhero stuff, it's going to follow you like a plague.
Said BTW nice drawing of Horn at home playing Hollow Knight Silk Song RM.
Go.
But he calmed down.
We're gonna be playing it later too.
Look at the state of him now.
See, Dolittle wasn't just a disappointment.
Hello.
It was a bomb of epic proportions. The movie was such a misfire, it forced Downey Jr. to rethink his career and eventually return to Marvel.
There we go.
That should tell you everything you
Thing
need
right
to know.
there. Yep.
Finished.
Is this a pep talk? Because it's a weird one.
Number 39, Furiosa, a Mad Max saga. This one hurts. Mad Max is one of the most consistently brilliant movie franchises out there, but for some reason, the films have never been able to reach a very broad audience, and Furiosa suffered the worst of it.
Sadly I don't play Genshin and haven't played it in such a forever. So what is something wrong with the new update? Or anything? I've been kind of hearing that Zenless has got some crazy leaks that happened. Or something with the banners.
True, that is true.
Warner Brothers spared no expense with the lavish budget and multimedia marketing campaign, but it was all for naught when opening weekend numbers came in much softer than anticipated.
Let's walk the 19 said it's amazing. Yes, these did get me. L02 said magnifying glass tilted right emoji, magnifying glass tilted left emoji.
Furiosa failed to hold on to its already low turnout and quickly fizzled into one of the largest fumbles of its year. This is one of the most recent reminders that quality doesn't always translate to profitability.
You break my heart. And it's not fair.
Number 38, Blade Runner 2049. Another day, another great movie lost in the shuffle. It's especially baffling since, on paper, Blade Runner 2049 had all the makings of a 4-quadrant hit.
Before you were under me, you have any memories from before?
I have memories, but they're not real. It's just implants.
The film boasted outstanding marks, a nostalgic story, and this time they actually got Harrison Ford back too.
I'm not here to take you in. Oh yeah? Then what? I just have some questions.
What questions?
And yet, even with all of that backing it up, people just didn't show up to see 2049 in theaters. There was a lot of finger pointing, some at the bloated runtime, some at the confusing marketing, and some at the popularity of the original. But no matter the reason, the fact of the matter is Blade Runner 2049 lost money, and a lot of it.
How's it feel? Killing your own kind.
I don't retire my own kind because we don't run.
Number 37, Transformers: The Last Night. Soured by horrible reviews and seriously diminishing returns, the novelty of giant robots smashing into each other finally wore off in Transformers: The Last Night.
The imminent destruction of everything we know.
What Rick's official said he is support hero
yes,
today.
It's extremely cool to see Optimus Prime wave around a massive sword. No, that did not make it a good movie. As the 5th installment in a franchise that only seemed to get worse, people were not fooled into seeing The Last Night.
There is only
I'm not gonna lie, never seen Last Night.
Mike Kaz said Blitzwolfer he has a tutorial playlist on his YouTube channel if you're interested in learning some drawing tips.
Yep.
L02s asks how's the drawing going?
Pretty good. Just cleaning it up a little bit. Trying to make it look at least recognizable as possible. Without...
Blitzwolfer19 said one of my fave.
I don't know, I never seen Last Night. Never seen it. I never had no desire to actually see it. Not because people said it was bad or was boring. I just never had a desire to watch it. I should, but...
One who can hurt us. I felt her. She must not end.
Wait a second! Whoa! Bro! Guys! What the hell? No one sees the problem with this? What the... Guys, look at this character. I think she's probably one of the villains, I'm pretty sure. If she's a villain or she's probably allied to the Autobots, I'm not sure. I've never seen this movie. But you guys don't see anything?
Mike Kaz asks Warframe. L02 said wait, what happened?
Look at the character on the screen.
Blitzwolfer19 said that's Quintessa. Alucard Helsing
Bro.
said SMG4 is my goat.
Hold on. No!
Blitzwolfer19 said one of the makers.
This looks way too similar. Hold on. I'm surprised no one said anything. Hold on. Let me see if I can pull it up. Hold on. I got it for you guys. Hold on, guys.
Blitzwolfer19 said what's going on.
Okay, so the screen on the screen. Oh, sorry. On the screen, for those who are watching, the character up here next to me from the
Mike Kaz
movie.
said looks like a mix between Warframe and Dark Souls.
I wouldn't say Dark Souls. Well, then again, Warframe. But like, it looks like. Bam. Bam.
Blitzwolfer19 said Quintessa.
Bam. It looks like the Locust Queen from Gears. What? 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 Come on, guys. You guys can't see it? You guys don't see it? Come on. Oh, they are.
Brightroclose says, oh my.
It looks like the Locust Queen from Gears of War 3.
Blitzwolfer19 said him face exhaling emoji thinking face
Oh!
emoji.
That's kind of cool. I'm surprised no one made a big distinction between that. That's crazy.
Mike Kaz said oh damn never got that far but yeah I really see it.
Yeah. I think she's a playable character on the multiplayer if I remember right. I don't know if our hitbox is smaller. I don't know. Wait, is the hitbox smaller on females on Gears of War? I think so, but I'm not totally sure. I could be wrong. Oh.
My army will stop them.
It was the first of the live-action series to unequivocally flop at the box office, and really that's putting it nicely. With how many special effects these movies have, the poor grosses are more like a cataclysmic disaster.
You did good, bro.
Mike Kaz asks why you want to
Number
feel bonita?
36. The Flash. You've got to feel at least a little bad for Warner Brothers here. The DCEU was already on its last legs long before The Flash tripped at the starting line. But to make matters worse, the marketing campaign was marred with scandal after scandal involving lead Ezra Miller.
I know sex exists, I've just never experienced it.
Suddenly, the movie wasn't just the last lap of a dying universe, it was a full-on media circus. So, surprising absolutely no one, The Flash ran out of box office steam fast, with the end result allegedly costing Warner Brothers as much as $200 million.
Okay, I know, but I don't need to know. Sorry, can we move on?
Even with super speed, no one's outrunning a bomb like that. Number 35, Missing Link. When you think about it, this title is pretty apropos considering how much is missing here.
Yeah, I know. Everyone says that.
L02's
I'm not gonna lie to you.
Your favorite food?
What do you call it? Ezra Miller is is a criminal. That man is a queer criminal beyond anything. That man is a queer criminal. If you hear the shit that man's been doing, he started a cult and everything, and he ran around with some teenage girl, broke in people's house, attacked a woman, a pregnant woman, and everything. If you heard the shit this man has done, it was even amazing that we call it Warner Bros. Didn't cancel it before it even came out. I was surprised. I was surprised. If you hear the shit this man did,
said no idea what he did. What in the world?
He choked the pregnant woman. He started a cult. I think it was a sex cult, and he also started. He kidnapped a teenage girl, ran with her for a couple of months or something like that. What else he did? He threatened. Well, I guess this is not technically bad.
Blitzwolfer19 said who did what now.
I don't think was technically bad, but it doesn't really make sense given you're an actor, an A-list Oh, I guess A-list. I don't know if he's considered A-list. He threatened the North Carolina Ku Klux Klan for no reason. I don't know why. Like, I understand you probably don't agree with their views, and I get that, but like, there's no reason for you to make this. And then he broke in someone's house and threatened to destroy to kill the people that's in there. It was a family. I think he was also intoxicated at the time when he broke into the house. He literally broke in through the window. It's some random house. Not really sure what that was about. He didn't even know the people. He just did it because he could. And other things.
And Advance42 said wild.
Yeah, this is before the movie. No, this is before the movie. This is not after or between. This is before they even, I think, even put out the trailer.
Said be a support
he did
hero
all
today
that
by using commands like.
And he somehow still got to be Flash.
Blitzwolfer19 said, "What the hell are Kelly X Diddy?"
He did a bunch of Diddy
it's
nonsense.
Always going to be one of those cults. It's never any other type except for the free labor ones for a cult business.
Right?
The audience. No one seemed to notice or care about the star-studded animated feature.
Quite right. I never shall.
asks, is this something that happened?
I really don't care to.
No, it was before the movie. It was before the movie, and while they was still doing production on the movie, finishing up production, he was doing all these things.
Blitzwolfer19 said R. Kelly 2.0.
He was doing some insane shit. Like, as a man, I know he says he identifies as something else, but he's biologically a dude. So like, it's hard for a dude to get away with things the way we do compared to like females. And the thing he was doing, like some Diddy ass shit. I'm like, bro, how did you still get to work in Hollywood while doing this? Like, you should have been blacklisted from virtually everything and anything. Like, I understand Rachel Zegler because she's just trying to get a bag and she's just trying to, you know, I don't like the bitch, but then again, I understand why she was doing what she was doing because at least she was trying to stay in Hollywood's good graces. This dude was doing some X-rated, insane, queer criminal shit. It was wild.
Anymore. I have changed my mind. I have evolved.
No, to women, children, and I think men too. I don't know if he did anything to any men, but definitely was towards women.
Reportedly, Missing Link only grossed a paltry $26 million worldwide. For those who struggle with math as much as we do, that's barely a fourth of its budget. To add insult to injury, Missing Link is, to date, the most expensive stop-motion animated film ever made.
Wow.
You asked me here to discover you? No. I ask you here to help.
Blitzwolfer19 said that's
it's a
even worse
shame,
than that
but
woman
based
who
on the
sued
sad
school
turnout,
district to
we'd
get a
wager
litter
no
box in
one's
the
giving
girls'
them this
bathroom.
big of a budget again.
You don't say.
I do say. I'd swear on it. And you know I'm nothing if not a man of my word.
L02
Yes,
asks
got it.
help.
Number 34. Wish. What better way to celebrate 100 years of Disney than with a good old-fashioned Disney princess?
It's really been 100 years? For real? Disney has been around for 100 years now? Holy moly, I did not know that. For real, for real?
They're a proven commodity, which is why it's so strange that Wish couldn't find any magic in theaters.
Okay.
And Avaz42 said, yeah.
Wow, that's kind of
Rick's
crazy.
official said it, and Avaz Mike Kaz said, I'll go tell him. And Avaz42 asks Ripstream.
What the? Hold on. Pause. And zoom. Is it working? It isn't. Let me see. 1 second.
Own hands working out for you.
Oh wait.
To be fair, Wish did find a decent audience on streaming, but for Disney's wallet, it came as too little too late.
Internet tweaking.
And they don't know what they're missing.
Not mine.
But you do. And now I do. It's not fair.
Number 33, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. A long-running franchise with Harrison Ford debuted a new big-budget installment only to crash and burn. Wait, is there an echo in here?
Said we back,
Thanks for putting up with me.
I don't know what that was about.
Just like other failed nostalgia bait, Dial of Destiny alienated old fans while failing to appeal to new ones. The result was a lot of disappointment at the box office. The numbers themselves looked decent enough. However, due to the high costs of shooting a globe-trotting adventure during a pandemic, Indiana Jones turned out to be one of the most expensive features ever produced.
Excuse me. The item she's talking about actually belongs to me.
You do not need to intrude in this conversation.
Worse
you do not need to get involved
run off
with my
with
business.
your new man. No.
It's complicated.
It needed to sell a lot more tickets to break even, but instead, it will only be remembered as one of Disney's greatest train wrecks.
Blitzwolfer19 said basically her daughter identified as a cat and not going to lie. I don't understand why people want to identify as animals. My father says it's because animals have. Blitzwolfer19 said Mike now mute. Mike Kaz asks, are you muted again? L02 said I don't understand either.
There we go.
I mean animals are cool, but I think that might be too far.
No, I think the problem is that a lot of animals are under the veil of the naivete-ness because
Blitzwolfer19 said stream be tweaking.
Most animals would be like, most animals don't understand like certain things. Some of them are smarter than others just based on biology because some of them have like the mind of a 6-year-old. Well, that's some mammals. I don't think all, but like a dog can get away biting a baby. A dog can get away
asks,
doing
wait,
shit.
is the chat delayed?
Or whatever. Is it delayed? No, I don't think it is. Is it delayed? I don't think so. But like, yeah, it's like that's the problem right there. Actually, I should just turn off. If anyone's over there on Twitch, is anyone?
And
over there on Twitch?
42 said refresh to fix the delay.
Oh, 42. Ooh. It's 42's here. Yay. Hey, 42. Let me see. So, but yeah, I think that's where it is. I think people try to identify as animals because, well, it's easy to say I'm a dog and I can get away because I don't know
said,
better.
yeah, there is usually a few seconds delay. You can swipe up and back down to fix it if it's on your end.
Yeah, just swipe up and back down. I don't know what's causing that. I'm sorry about that, guys. For those who are on the phone, I'm streaming to Twitch, YouTube, and TikTok only today. I would have streamed to the other platforms, but I don't want to put too much stress on the computer. I think I need to buy more RAM. Yeah, I may have to buy more RAM. That might actually help. Anyway, but yeah, so to answer the question, a lot of people,
Blitzwolfer19 asks, but here's the thing is if that identifies animals, what happens when they get another animal like a cat?
Are you talking about the person who identifies as an animal and buys an animal? If they buy an animal and they identify as an animal, I don't think you're an animal. Animals don't buy animals. I think you're just posing as an animal at that point. Like, after you're not an animal to begin with, but like the fact that you're trying to identify and people like to encourage that type of mental illness to a degree, that's shame on those people. But like, once you start running with that bullshit, everything goes out the window. When you start identifying as other species, I'm not going to be surprised if a black man says he's going to identify as Asian, which this is already happening now, where there's a white man trying identifying as a Korean man from it's a white man who's from Europe who's trying to identify as a Korean Korean individual specifically I think his name is Jin or something, some type of pop singer, K-pop singer, and he's trying to literally surgically change his face to look like a Korean singer specifically. So that tells you a lot right there.
Annabaz42 said wouldn't say that is the same.
Let me see. Wouldn't say that is the same. It's not the same. Nothing close. But like the problem is like there's too many people who push this idea that because you feel, therefore you are. That a lot of people do this. If I feel there, therefore I am. So I think that's a dangerous rhetoric to go down because a lot of people can feel that they're 45, but they feel 11. So therefore, are you 11? No, I don't think so.
Number 32, Snow White. Combine an
emoji.
iconic Disney princess with a well-known format of live-action remakes, and you get one of the most embarrassing bombs of the 2020s. Yeah, somehow this modern retelling of Snow White absolutely tanked.
Annabaz42 said identifying as an animal. Strange but not hurting no one.
Something's wrong.
No, it doesn't hurt anyone. I don't think it does. But it brings a rhetoric that can, because the one thing this is where this argument tends to divulge into madness is because it's like
19 said I mean reproductive.
Like okay.
Annabaz42 said identifying as another race / age /
because like
Mike Cass said, "Oh my God, I hit someone! Please, someone call a vet." Switch to reverse, puts arm behind passenger seat to look back before stepping on the pedal.
Right, but like it's that's how usually these type of things segues itself into insane nonsense. Because you never, when something starts, it never stays where it is. It just divulges either something extremely good or something extremely bad. So like for instance, if I say I identify as a coat hanger, right, but I'm doing everything human, but I don't want to be called a coat hanger, well fine, whatever, you're not doing anything to anyone. And then someone's gonna look at that and be like, oh, he identifies as a coat hanger. I think I identify as a BMW. So what that means is if I identify as a BMW and then I'm still doing human stuff, but someone were to like say bump into me or something, I will lose my mind because I will say, well, I'm a BMW, I'm a luxury car, and I'm luxury, so therefore you shouldn't, like,
And Annabaz42 asks, like the people who are convinced they are aliens?
Yes, like, it's like that.
Let's said, like, bestiality laws.
Yeah, like,
not trying to get banned lol face with tears of joy emoji.
But, like, it's what happens with this is when it starts very, very harmless, it becomes harmful. It doesn't stay where it is. It just devolves into everything else. That's one thing I learned in my psychology work. One thing is when something starts and becomes a thing, it tends to literally manifest in something much worse than it was before. So it can start very harmless like a joke. Remember, 10, 15 years ago, us saying a dude in a dress was funny. Now that's a law. Think that to yourself. 10 or 15 years ago, a dude dressed up like a woman in a dress, and like comedians like SNL stuff was considered a joke. Now, today, it's considered a law. So nothing stays where it is. It becomes, and that argument becomes dangerous.
And Annabaz42 said you need to look at older sources.
Because that's usually how that happens. Because I learned that a lot. Because like I think there's a video right now.
Annabaz42 said trans/drag has always existed.
No, it always existed, but because of the idea of the internet became much more prevalent for everyone, you're more exposed to it. Like it always existed, but the problem is it was not just like there. Like now, you can look up someone talking about that on your phone, when you had to actually look for that within like the 90s, 80s, 70s, 60s. 40s, 50s. You know what I mean, yeah. 50s, 40s, 30s. You know what I'm saying? Like, that existed all the time. But it's now more prevalent than ever because the internet makes it much more easier to access it. That's the only reason. That's why you can hear more kids are more trans than ever. Not saying that there wasn't, just saying you hear it more often now. You're more, what I'm saying is the idea of the normie, the normal individual who doesn't look up these things are aware of it now.
Mike has said hi, Miguel.
That's what I'm saying. Not just adults, but now kids and adults. Teens and adults.
There was contention over just about every piece of this movie, from the casting to the dwarves to Disney's politics to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict and more. To say nothing of the film itself, which received reviews ranging
that's
from
become a law. You just proved my point.
Blitzwolfer19 said reference to It's Raining Man.
You just proved my point. It's more of a law now that they can be themselves.
Awful to downright.
When back in the day, when they was doing things like this, they either lost their job or they was ostracized or everything under the sun. So you just proved my point. It became more of a law that you have to permanently accept it for what it is.
Watchable.
All is fair when you wear the crown. To be the queen means you do.
Well, I don't know how it was like in Europe. It probably is different in Europe. Maybe that was accepted way before, but in America that's more accepted now than it ever was, like 10 years ago.
We commend Disney for trying to fix Snow White with massive reshoots, but given how few people were interested, they should have just cut their losses.
Leave. Now. And never come back.
Number 31, The Marvels. You can pinpoint Marvel's exact fall from grace in a movie fittingly named after it. While the brand had stumbled before, the poor quality control and reliance on Disney Plus finally affected the bottom line when The Marvels hit theaters.
I was born for this.
There, it didn't make waves. In fact, it barely caused a ripple. At the time, The Marvels had the lowest opening weekend for an MCU film ever, which was followed by the worst second weekend drop for the franchise too. It doesn't take a mathematician to see those numbers don't add up to anything good.
Come on now! We need to save who we can!
Altogether, The Marvels finished its run hundreds of millions away from earning back its money.
It was a ruse.
If it were, your intervention failed. We don't need your help anymore.
Number 30, Joker Folie à Deux.
Yeah, the Joker movie didn't deserve a sequel. I think it was perfectly fine the way it was. There was no need for a Joker 2. That was a horrible decision. But I think what happened is, I think the director got more money than he ever thought, so he's like, you know what, fuck it, why not?
In the massive hit that was 2019's Joker, we can't fault the filmmakers or the studio for thinking the sequel also had the potential to be a big moneymaker.
Maybe I could talk to Joker about it.
Evil Nat said, oh my god,
Would
it's
he like
Smith
to talk
Silk
to me?
Song.
But it wasn't. In fact, the film grossed just north of its estimated production budget of $200 million, not counting marketing. Projections have the studio losing anywhere from $125 to $200 million.
Blitzwolfer19 said you heard Zelda live action might be T. Girl.
What? Might be... No, they already made the, I know you're talking about, what's the actor's face from, we call it, Euphoria. No, they're not picking that individual. They already picked I heard that story, but they already picked someone else.
When all is said and done. Folie à Deux
I don't think his name's Trevor. Not Trevor, I forget.
Kofi Streambot said
Slates
visit
to madness
Artextric
of
Kofi
two,
page at
as in a shared delusional disorder. And it would appear that those who thought a dark Joker jukebox musical was a good idea all shared in a delusion until reality came and shone a big bright light on it. Number 29, Hellboy. After Guillermo del Toro wasn't given full writer-director powers, and Ron Perlman refused to return to the role without him, what was supposed to be a sequel became a reboot.
Hellboy.
No, it's Josh.
Mike has said
People
fun fact, it
confuse us
wasn't
all the
supposed to
time.
be a Joker movie, it was more supposed to be like Taxi Driver-like movie that Robert De Niro did in the 80s, a modern noir.
Yeah,
Mike has said Giblets.
I remember that one.
Botrix official said be
Someone
a
did
support
say that.
hero
It was
today
supposed to be like a
by
noir
using
type
commands
movie.
like /donation.
Swayze, I can never say his name. Type movie.
Mike has said meant to type by.
Come on, we gotta go.
It also became a big flop. To be fair, we can't be sure that had Del Toro and Perlman returned, the film would have been a hit. But we can be sure that without them, it only earned $55 million on a $50 million budget.
Welcome back to the land of the living. Hardly a scratch left. You heal fast.
It also earned a measly 17% on Rotten Tomatoes, and second place on Digital Spy's list of the biggest movie flops of 2019. Number 28, Mulan.
Guys, are you having a hard time seeing the the reaction video on TikTok? Is it hard to see, or you guys can see it just fine?
Disney has seen huge box office numbers with live-action remakes of their classic animated movies, and no one thought Mulan would be any different.
Yes.
I knew this movie was gonna flop. As soon as they took out Mushu and the singing and all that stuff, it was over.
It is best. I will bring on.
So wait, let me get this straight. You take the singing out of Mulan, but leave the singing in Aladdin? That's weird. Why would you do that? That makes a lot of sense. Like, you put the singing in Lion King, but you won't have the singing in Mulan?
Honor to us all.
After its premiere in March of 2020, the film looked ready to take home plenty of box office dollars when it hit theaters later that month. But then COVID-19 hit, and everything changed. Instead of a huge theatrical push, the film went to Disney Plus Premier Access, and only into theaters in countries without Disney Plus. Money-wise, the film took home about $70 million from theaters, and an estimated $62 to $93 million from premium VOD.
We will live. I guarantee it. Because I will protect you.
Mike has said they probably
We'll
didn't like the
protect each
auto-tune Will Smith singing of Arabian
We'll fight
Nights,
for each other.
kind of like
At
the
best,
Capcom
that's
test.
$160
You may be right.
million or so, which ain't very good on a $200 million budget. Number 27, The Goldfinch. When Warner Brothers bought the rights to Donna Tartt's Pulitzer Prize-winning novel in 2014, they probably thought they had a hit on their hands, or at least an emotional and thought-provoking drama that would bring with it a few Oscar nominations.
Are you absolutely sure you want to do that?
Do what?
Your rook is in danger, but I would suggest you take a look at your queen.
Well, if that's what they thought, boy were they wrong. Not only did the movie receive a critical lashing, but audiences weren't interested either. The film took home a paltry $10 million at the box office. Estimated losses for the studio came in at around $50 million.
We're so accustomed to disguise ourselves to others
What is this movie?
that in the end, we become disguised to ourselves.
And the cherry on top, Tartt hated the movie so much she fired her agent and said she would never sell the rights to anything she wrote in the future. Number 26, Haunted Mansion. 2023's Haunted Mansion was the second time Disney had made a film based on their similarly named theme park attraction.
And Abaz 42 said, have you gotten around to playing Silk Song?
That's exactly
No, I actually bought it today. We might play it today. I was gonna play a game with Mikey, but I don't know. I think I should jump onto Silk Song because before it loses distraction. So I'm just gonna see what the game's like. You remember when you used to watch me play on? You used to watch me play on Hollow Knight. You know how long that took me, but I'm a lot more refined than I am before. So we'll see how I do in Silk Song. I want to see how much different Hornet's moveset is compared to Hollow Knight. Or to the Hollow
And
Knight.
Avaz 42 said, I have it installed, but I have been sick for a few days. Frowns.
No!
Mike Kaz said, go for Silk Song while the iron is still hot.
Okay, I got you, bro. We'll definitely get around to it. Once it hits 7 o'clock, we'll get right to it. This is I'm just taking some time. I just wanted to pull people in to get their, get the tone ready, so I wanted to work a little
And
bit on
Avaz
this.
42 said, I remember the pain of Hollow Knight, yes XD. Was very funny lol.
It was.
Who said it in a much better way?
Let's see where
One
that
thing it had in
goes.
common with the 2003 version is that both were disliked by the critics, with 38 and 13% Rotten Tomatoes scores respectively. However, while the first movie was a mild success at the box office, the 2023 one bombed hard. We're looking at $117 million on a $150 million production budget. Taking all the expenses into account, Disney's losses on the movie have been estimated at almost $120 million. Now, that's scary. Number 25, Wonder Woman 1984. Following the unbelievable success of 2017's Wonder Woman, the prospects looked great for the sequel to be another massive hit, but it wasn't, or at least not in the same way, and that was because of COVID.
We won't be doing that today.
Wonder Woman 1984 was another...
I understand COVID did play a part in that, but I don't feel like that was the main reason. Like, it was probably... No, that was probably, like, it was good 80%, but I think a good 90, 10, like good 20% was a bit of a good dot. Now, I don't have a problem with she looking like Wonder Woman. She looks like a beautiful Wonder Woman. She looks like Wonder Woman, but her acting isn't there. And I think everyone can agree that her acting is not there. It's just what makes her appealing is one, she is likable. She is attractive. She does look like Wonder Woman. And it was a nice touch that she has like this Amazonian accent. I think that's kind of cool because it makes sense. Like for her to speak straight English when she's like from a different type of different type of like place, it'll be really weird that she can speak straight up English, perfect English, and not have like a different accent in the slightest. That'd be weird because they did this with One Piece for some odd reason. I keep pointing this out, but this is the weirdest thing. They did the flashbacks in One Piece where Luffy, the main character, has a Brazilian accent, which makes sense because, well, to a degree he's from the Caribbean, but then again it's like, what's weird about Luffy specifically with the accent is that even though Oda said that Luffy would be originally be a Brazilian, which he said this before even the production of Netflix's thing was a thing, because they asked this before, way like about probably 9-10 years ago, what would be the ethnicities of each character, and he said it right, and he's 100% on everyone so far that he has presented so far from where they're from or where they would sound like or where they're from. Fine. The issue I have with that is that when they're doing the flashbacks, Luffy is speaking straight American as like 5, but he's around his grandfather.
Mike has said I like the Metal Gear explanation of how come you hear everyone speaking English.
Right? Like he's okay, so he's around his grandfather who is Irish. He's around Shanks who is British. He's around the woman who takes care of him, who's also British. He's also around the other 2 people who are on Shanks, who is West Indian with a West Indian accent, like a Jamaican accent, something. He is more likely to sound British than he sound Brazilian. He's not around anyone who has like a Hispanic accent, and he's around a bunch of different people. But he's usually around he was raised by his grandfather and the woman, because remember the story is a little bit changed. He's not just left behind with his grandfather. You know what I'm saying? So for him to most likely not pick up at least an Irish accent or something, a mix of between these things, doesn't make any sense that he has a straight up Brazilian accent. That makes no sense. But he can speak straight up American when he's a child. Like, what? What? Where did this come from? Like, I understand that you can pick up an accent if you're somewhere, if you live in a certain place for a good while, to a degree. But this is born and raised type of situation where he's speaking straight American, and then when he's like, and remember,
Mike
he's
has
like
asked,
9
is
or
it
10.
worth watching the live action?
I wouldn't say it's bad. It is entertaining, it is interesting, and it is different. Because remember, it's an anime adaptation, but it's not a one-to-one. Definitely not a one-to-one. They had to make various changes to make the story fit into the 8-episode runtime. So, it's going to be definitely either extremely rushed, to a degree where it doesn't feel rushed. So, like, what I mean by this, if you've never watched or read the manga, you won't have no issue with this in the slightest. But if you watch the manga, I mean, if you read the manga or watched the show, you're going to see the significant changes they made into this franchise. Now, remember, this is built this was built specifically for the normie class, for those who do not read manga or watch the anime. This is more for, these are characters that you recognize based on the IP, but they're going to change some things so it makes it easy to digest for the overall
And
audience.
42 said, my head is killing me, so I gotta go. But it has
Alright.
been chill.
Alright.
Enjoy the rest of the streamo slash.
Okay, hun. Thank you for coming in, 42. I appreciate you, hun. Hello. Thank you. But yeah, so, like, it's worth watching. I think give it a try. If you ever seen One Piece, you can see the significant difference. But I don't think you'll be too, like, disappointed. There is, like, one or two changes that is very noticeable. And I mean, it's kind of noticeable from the very episode on a particular character, which I don't think was needed, but hey, we have to get those at the time DEI ESG scores in, so to a degree, and I'm not talking about race. I don't mind if they change the color of a character if they're like a certain race, because like it's anime to a degree, so you can kind of get away with most of that, but there are some changes that are very noticeable, like one or two, but it doesn't really hinder the story all that much, to be honest. It still kind of sticks to the story overall, but yeah, pretty much.
Cinematic victim of the pandemic. The film delayed its opening multiple times before finally dropping in December of 2020. However, with so many...
Oh, and when I say characters, I'm not talking about the main cast. I'm talking about like more side characters. So Garp is fine, Luffy's fine, Nami's fine, Usopp's fine. I think Usopp is probably my favorite character of all of them, to be honest, on the live action version. I think Usopp was the most interesting one out of all of them because, yes, he doesn't have the long nose, but then again, in a realistic look, he does look like Usopp. The actor who plays Usopp, he gives a convincing Usopp. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like a realistic Usopp, he feels like a realistic Usopp to me. To be honest. I think Usopp is probably my favorite character in the live action version. Luffy is kind of my last favorite out of the Straw Hat crew right now. Not because he's horrible or anything, or the actor. It's just like sometimes the issue I have with how they written Luffy in this show feels like if you saw One Piece and anime is your only thing, like you just watch, this is your first. It's like if you watch anime for the very first time and that's the only thing you watch, and you don't watch anything else. It's like that those kids in school, like in you know what I'm talking about. Those kids in high and like when you was growing up. Let me see real quick. There we go. It's like those kids in school who tries to be an anime character in real life than just, I know the show. That type of stuff. That's what it feels to me. A little bit. But it's convincing to a degree, but not too convincing like a 100%. It's convincing from like a 65%. Because sometimes the things that they have Luffy say comes off a little bit cringe. And the only time it gets cringe is when he says he's going to be king of the pirates. To me. And I know that he says that. I'm not saying that Luffy doesn't say that, but it just, like, this doesn't feel like a real conversation when someone says something like that, unless they're asked. You know what I'm saying? If I ask you, what's your dream? And you tell me, I want to be king of the pirates, that's one thing. But when you just literally say it, like, without asking, you know what I'm saying? It just comes off a bit cringe.
many theaters shut down, the film didn't come close to the numbers of the first film, regardless of the lesser reviews. In the end, it took in $170 million on a budget of $200 million.
What did you do?
It did, however, also release on HBO Max at the same time and was the most streamed movie of 2020. Number 24, Robin Hood.
The Robin for his character.
That's what I'm saying.
Where the anime one is blunt, he's kind, but says what's on his mind.
Yeah, that's the difference. It comes off too goofy-ish, like someone's cosplaying a character. That's how it feels. Right? It feels like someone's cosplaying a character, then they're being the character. And Luffy is a very blunt individual where he doesn't give a fuck. Like, this is why I say that if any of your favorite anime characters was real, most of you will hate them. Especially Luffy. I think majority if Luffy was a real person.
Mike Kaz said just say it, he's cringe.
It's pretty much, it is cringe. I don't want to say he's cringe because he looked like Luffy in the face. I guess they got the clothing pretty right. It's just that sometimes dialogue, you can be taken out of the dialogue pretty fast sometimes. Like, there are times when he's talking, and you're like, oh, okay. And then there's a time when he says a sentence, and it just feels... And you have to kind of, like, read a little bit, but not a big sigh. You're like, okay. Like, that's a bit cringe, but you're not that cringe to the point where I have to turn this shit off. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. It's like that. Like, it's like, from a scale 1 to 10, you're like 20% cringe. No, 30% cringe. 70% convincing. That's what I'm saying. It's just dialogue. That's usually what fucks it all up. Not the fight scenes or any of that stuff.
Robin Hood's story has been made into a movie many times over the years, but it seems like Mr. Hood has been trending down over the last 3 decades.
Mike has said
God, unfinished business.
No business. You tried to kill.
I stowed away for 3 months on your ship.
Tolerable. Yes, you're right. Tolerable. There you go.
Just then if I wanted to. Not why I'm here.
You see, Kevin Costner's Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves made $390 million in 1991. Then, in 2010, Russell Crowe's Robin Hood made $321 million. 8 years later, Taron Egerton took on the Robin Hood role and brought in just $86 million on a $100 million budget. Taking all expenses into account, 2018's Robin Hood is estimated to have lost the studio somewhere around $83 million.
Well, I hope now that you're back, I get to see a lot more of you.
As much as you'll allow, sir. I hope to earn your favor.
There's gotta be a take from the rich joke there somewhere, right? Number 23, A Wrinkle in Time. Following the success of 2014's Selma, director Ava DuVernay was a hot commodity in Hollywood. The talented filmmaker...
Oh yes, Wrinkle in Time. There's a part in this movie that comes off very Kingdom Hearts-esque. Like, it's funny. I think this was a Disney-made movie, but, like, Jesus Christ.
Used that new clout to get her hands on $100+ million to make A Wrinkle in Time in 2018.
You need to get out, and get something. How will you make it if you never even try?
Based on a beloved sci-fi fantasy novel, and with big stars like Oprah Winfrey and Reese Witherspoon on board, a lot was expected from this one.
You should talk to them. Everyone knows that flowers are the best gossipers in the entire universe. You should show them a picture of your father and ask them if they've seen him.
How are we gonna understand each other?
At least try.
Unfortunately, what they got was...
That doesn't answer the question. That did not answer my question. She's like, I'm trying, I just want to know how you talk to them. That didn't answer the question. What the fuck?
A not-so-great 42% Rotten Tomatoes score, a box office haul of just $133 million, and estimated losses in the staggering $130 million range. Number 22, King Arthur, Legend of the Sword. Guy Ritchie's King Arthur, Legend of the Sword was supposed to be the first in a planned 6-film franchise. If you're wondering when the next 5 films are coming out, they aren't. After this first one flopped as hard as it did, the studios put the kibosh on the franchise's future. The film only made about $148 million at the box office, which isn't great for a franchise starter.
Most of the girls are with us, but the rest of the crew pretty much got gist of your popularity and made themselves scarce.
But it's even worse when they spend $175 million to make it, and even more to market it. In the end, the studios were looking down the barrel of $150 million in losses. Number 21, Shazam, Fury of the Gods.
You know, it's crazy how you hear these numbers. It's crazy how you hear these numbers, you're like, those are some big numbers, but imagine the people who have to recoup that money back somehow.
Teens Shazam probably surprised a lot of people with its 90% Rotten Tomatoes score and $367 million box office. What wasn't a surprise, though, was that Warner Brothers started planning a sequel the instant the film became a hit.
Talk to the golden gods? Grab the shoulder, look up to the sky, look how Bloomers disappears in smoke.
Alright, here's the situation. We have one more job to do, and that's to keep this bridge from collapsing.
But unfortunately, said sequel didn't live up to the first film in either quality or box office. Shazam! Fury of the Gods holds a 49% score on Rotten Tomatoes, and its box office haul was a rather unimpressive $134.1 million. The production budget alone was between $110 and $125 million. The studio was definitely not Shazamming a profit out of this one.
There are more. Said hi.
Perfect. We take them all. No, it's not why we're here.
Number 20, Black Adam.
There's no one on this planet that can stop me.
I can call in a favor and send people who aren't from this planet.
Send them all.
Just because you have one of the biggest stars in the world playing a DC superhero doesn't guarantee a billion-dollar hit. Black Adam fell just below grossing $400 million, which would have been solid for a film that cost $100 million. However, Black Adam was originally budgeted at $190 million, which skyrocketed to $260 million after reshoots. Taking its marketing into consideration, numerous outlets deemed the film a flop. Star Dwayne Johnson argued otherwise, although the figures he pointed to were called into question. Even if there is a road to profitability, Black Adam was far from the game changer that was supposed to reinvigorate the DCEU. Despite Johnson's initial claims that Black Adam will absolutely fight Superman, James Gunn seems to have other plans.
It's been a while since anyone's made the world this nervous. Black Adam. We should talk.
Number 19, The 355.
Please put the guns down.
No, but listen to her. And by all means do. 8, 7.
We all want the same thing here.
No, we don't. 6.
Please.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
We're not going to act like COVID hasn't factored into more than a few recent flops. The Omicron surge didn't do this espionage ensemble piece any favors. Given the lackluster reviews, though, we're not convinced that The 355 would have been a box office success even in a pre-pandemic world. As much as we like Jessica Chastain, Penelope Cruz, and the rest of the cast, there's only so much they can do with a forgettable script and a director who, quite frankly, is better off as a producer.
Thanks for everything you taught me, Nick. A girl really does need a guy to explain it all to her. I'll take it from here.
Nevertheless, Universal was confident enough in the picture to pay $20 million out of Cannes. The 355 made about $7.8 million more than its distribution rights, with the budget falling between $40 and $75 million. Number 18, Amsterdam.
Who knows, maybe I'll find a new life and a new love.
I hope so. Because when it comes to love, there's nothing quite so good as clarity.
I agree.
Amsterdam proved two things. Star power isn't what it used to be, and
Mike
neither
has
is
said
director
Mike might be
David O.
muted on
Russell.
YouTube.
After a lengthy hiatus, Russell returned with this star-studded revisionist history, mystery, comedy, period picture that's also a political thriller. Yeah, you can tell from this description that Amsterdam doesn't know what it wants to be. Since the film can't pick a tone, the actors struggle to unearth any chemistry.
Okay, things were a little more difficult. I had to stab a guy. I had to hit a lady with a brick one time.
What?
Wow.
Yeah, it's a long story, but with you two, it'll be a cakewalk.
Too ambiguous for its own good, Amsterdam could have used a critical boost, but reviews unsurprisingly were not so forgiving. Costing $80 million to produce and an estimated $70 million to promote, the film got off to a disastrous $6.5 million opening weekend, with its final worldwide total amounting to $31.2 million. Number 17, The Last Duel. With a price tag of $100 million, The Last Duel got better reviews than some other award season hopefuls. Even if you took COVID out of the equation though, it would have been a tough sell.
This land was promised to me as part of my wife's dowry.
The petition is denied.
In addition to the uncomfortable subject matter, the film clocks in at 2.5 hours, limiting the number of potential showings and alienating those turned off by long run times. With older demographics still hesitant about returning to theaters, Ridley Scott's latest historical epic opened with $10.9 million, ultimately grossing about 3 times that amount.
Lord, I become your man. I swear I shall serve you for life.
Scott pinned the blame on millennials who, quote, do not ever want to be taught anything unless you are told it on the cell phone. We'd love to
He's not wrong though. Like he's not technically that wrong though. He's not wrong. You gotta stop and really think of it. Most millennials, or not even millennials, it's like most young people at all won't go see a movie unless like not even the trailer is going to convince them. Their friend or someone they like some type of, I don't know, TikToker or something, until they say it to them, like. Yeah.
See Scott's TikTok remake that appears to the younger crowd. Number 16, West Side Story. Unlike The Last Duel, West Side Story at least managed to win over Academy voters. In terms of box office, however, the pandemic's effects were once again felt. By December 2021, audiences were starting to return to theaters, although most of them were flocking to see Spider-Man: No Way Home. West Side Story could have provided an alternative for the older crowd, although that demographic was still steering clear of theaters with Omicron on the rise.
How do you fire it? It's police! How many bullets are left? Enough for you!
It didn't help that another adaptation of the classic musical already exists, leading many to question if a remake was necessary. Steven Spielberg hasn't lost his touch as a director, but with a gross of $76 million against $100 million, his reign as box office king may be over. Number 15, Dark Phoenix. While the previous X-Men movies had been critically hit and miss, all of them were financially successful. So when Fox gave Dark Phoenix the go-ahead, it seemed like another guaranteed blockbuster.
Please, stop.
Not until I know you're gonna be okay.
Unfortunately, the film was a storm of unforeseen obstacles. What was originally supposed to be a 2-part movie suddenly had to be squeezed into one.
If you break something, anything, I can fix it.
Not anything.
Reshoots were ordered due to negative test screenings, and tweaks were allegedly also made to avoid comparison to an MCU movie. Meanwhile, Disney was in the midst of acquiring Fox, which was partially blamed for the film's poor marketing. Horrible reviews were the final nail in the coffin for Dark Phoenix, which made roughly $250 million on a $200 million budget. Reportedly, it lost $100 million in total, until New Mutants came along and made just $49 million at the box office. It was the lowest grossing X-Men movie.
Indubitably, it's indisputable that you are the absolute worst mutants I've ever seen.
Number 14, Fantastic Four. A couple years before Disney came along with $71 billion to burn, Fox made a last-ditch effort to prove that they could make a watchable Fantastic Four movie.
I need you to manually override the re-entry, okay?
Okay, I got it.
Manually override the re-entry!
I'm trying!
Did audiences embrace Fox's gritty take on the colorful superhero team? Well, by the end of its opening weekend, the film came in second at the domestic box office to Mission Impossible Rogue Nation, which had already been out for over a week. In North America, Fantastic Four grossed $56.1 million, which is about how much its 2005 predecessor made in its opening weekend alone.
Gotta say, it's fantastic.
With an overall intake of $167.9 million, the film lost nearly $100 million on a budget of no less than $120 million. We guess their loss was the MCU's gain.
Enough!
When your world is destroyed, and I'm all that's left, then it will be enough.
Number 13, Monster Trucks. A film about monster trucks that are literally monsters living inside trucks doesn't exactly scream bona fide hit. Nevertheless, we guess the idea offers a few possibilities for tie-in merchandise.
There's something going on here.
Really?
Yeah, something crazy, and I don't even know how to begin to explain.
Maybe this could have actually turned a respectable profit with a modest budget of $25 million. The studio unwisely decided to throw $125 million at monster trucks, however.
It's the truck! That thing is in the truck!
We can only assume one of the studio heads thought this was going to be the next Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Where Ninja Turtles built a fan base with comics, toys, and a cartoon though, monster trucks went blindly charging into the fast lane without any driving experience. Grossing $64.5 million worldwide, what was intended to jumpstart a franchise instead lost an estimated $123.1 million.
We're a family.
He was looking for his parents.
Number 12, Justice League.
You're all too...
Did they just ruin the plot of the movie? Did they just ruin the plot of...
Wait to see the truth.
Well, I believe in truth. But I'm also a big fan of justice.
After Marvel broke records with the Avengers, DC seemed destined to do the same. Where the MCU took its time establishing its heroes, though, the DCEU accelerated things to catch up.
That I don't understand where they thought that was gonna be smart. That was dumb as hell. As soon as Avengers came out, or not, was it Avengers? Or at least Avengers. Was it Avengers? I think it was Avengers. All of a sudden, Justice League just came out of nowhere. I'm like, where? What? Like, most people don't. Yeah, we all know Batman's parents. We all know that Superman. And I don't think a lot of young people who Wonder Woman like that, other than she being Wonder Woman. That's it. Like as a humanistic type way. Yeah, it's comic books, but like for the normie, like listen, you have to write a story that doesn't insult your audience, but also it's easy for them to digest for normies. Because when you make it too complicated from the jump, you're gonna have a very hard time getting people to jump on board with you. That's just literally the cake of things. Like, what the fuck?
Along the way, they churned out 5 films that ranged from awesome to Suicide Squad.
Hunka hunka!
As if that wasn't enough to make moviegoers skeptical, Zack Snyder left during post-production due to a family tragedy, with Joss Whedon stepping in. When Justice League hit theaters, it was about as tonally inconsistent and rushed as people expected.
So, how do I help?
We buy him some time. He can stop that box from destroying all life on Earth. We hope.
Well, I knew you didn't bring me back because you like me.
I don't. Not.
It's Its $658 million gross would have been passable for a middle-tier superhero movie, but for a $300 million tentpole, it didn't reach the break-even point. At least Snyder eventually got to finish his version, although measuring its profitability is tricky.
I'm actually glad that they took it upon themselves to have Batman have a voice changer. I thought that was kind of a good... That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense, because him for always rupturing his voice just so people don't recognize it, that must have been horrible on Bruce's throat. So, like, it makes sense that he has a voice changer on his throat, so when he speaks, you don't know what he's saying.
Mike Cass said, do we really need to hear the origin story for every superhero movie? I mean, we heard it so much, it's like saying how come the ship sunk at the end of Titanic.
Yeah, but, like, the problem with this is, like, we don't need an origin story, right? But, like, the problem is that when they made origin stories, they made them too far along from each other. They don't feel connected. And to a degree, at least with '08 Iron Man up this point, there was a literal plan, right? The problem with DC, they was just fumbling the bag for some odd reason, and I think where this came from was Superman Returns, and I think Superman Returns came around in '06. Yeah, it was. I think it was Wait, hold on. Superman Returns. Oh yeah, '06 film. Iron Man came in '08. So they could have had, I'm dead serious, because the superhero like genre wasn't like that per se. They had Spider-Man, Blade, and X-Men, but these was movies that were scattered amongst platforms that wasn't like in a cohesive storyline of each other. They was just independent of each other, right? Even though they're technically in the same Marvel-esque universe, but they didn't have the Marvel Cinematic Universe at all. So in '06, what they could have did, if they were smart, is actually just keep continuing the Superman Returns thing, but it didn't make that much money. So that's where they probably said, you know what, fuck it, no one's into Superman like that. And because they sat on the Superman IP for so long, and then they made Batman, I think they made Batman Begins. Batman Begins came out in '05, a year before Superman Returns. So when Batman Begins, and that actually did well, right? They should have worked off Batman Begins and tied in with Superman Returns. So they would have been like a 2-year, 3-year head start from '08 Iron Man, and then they would have been in the running with each other at that point. But because they sat on the IP for whatever reason, because they didn't think of a cinematic universe from that point on, which was strange because fucking Blade came out in the 2000s, right? And because Blade came out in the 2000s and had a bit of a franchise from Blade 1 and 3, they should have looked at that and be like, okay, even though it didn't do perfect between like Blade 2 and 3, like they still made money. So what they should have did when we made Batman Begins and The Dark Knight and so on and so forth, this is where we should have tied in Superman Returns with the Batman Begins, and then started making a Wonder Woman, Flash, and all this. That's what they could have been still up the running at the same time around that time within that era of the 2010s with Marvel. But because they just sat on IP and didn't think it was that important, and they did everything but. Then they had to play catch-up 10 years later by making a whole Justice League movie. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the problem. See, the thing is, everyone knows who Batman is. I get that. Everyone knows who Superman is. We get that. It's pretty basic. Like, man from another planet comes to our planet as a baby, gets raised by people from Kansas. Man who has billionaire parents lose their billionaire parents through a robbing that went wrong down an alley. Got that. But not a lot of people know... They know that Wonder Woman's an Amazonian, but they don't know how she got to X, Y, and Z, per se, if you're a comic book fan. Like, every normie knows who Peter Parker is based on that thing. Every normie knows who Superman is. Every normie knows who Batman is, right? But not every normie can really tell you one-to-one, Flash or like Wonder Woman unless you read comic books or actually put the time to watch the TV shows. So you have to be appealing to the ones who don't want to watch a TV show and doesn't read the comics, because they're going to be new audience and probably your base audience, because there's people who just watch the movies and only the movies and think that's all that is, right? So that just so you can have fucking Bella Ramsey's all over there saying she can play Spider-Man, and the only Spider-Man she's seen is that one movie, and that's it. Or she only seen Spider-Man as the only MCU movie she's seen. That's it. So that's the normie right there. They think they know everything because they saw one movie. That's the normie that you need to appeal to. Sadly, not the diehard fan, because even though the diehard fan to a degree will generate you money, you have to make the new fan into the diehard fan in the long run. But I don't think you should isolate the diehard fans. You should make it easy for it to digest for normies, so it doesn't piss off the diehard fans, because the diehard fans will make it easier to explain to normies where there's a bit of a difference here, or what needs to be needed and what needs to be added. You know what I'm saying? So they're going to be somewhat your assistant to a degree, but a lot of these companies do not take that in consideration. They just kind of throw them out the wayside and ignore them. And the irony in this is that they're the very reason why you're making this movie in the first place. Not just the normie on a normal basis, but for the niche catalyst that got you here in the first place. That's the irony in all of this. So you have to keep the diehard fans appeased alongside trying to get newcomers to come in and not be irritants to the diehard fans, because the diehard fans are the ones who have to actually shell out the money for you. You know what I'm saying? On the long run edge. So the diehard fans are long run, and then the new fans or the normies are going to be like the short term. And a lot of these companies bet on short term than long term. And that's why most of them either die off or they don't exist anymore. These movies are forgettable and everything under the sun. So,
not impressed.
Number 11, the BFG. On paper, the BFG appeared to be too big to fail.
Where am I?
Giant country.
It was being distributed by Disney, it was based on a cherished book by literary legend Roald Dahl, and it marked director Steven Spielberg's return to family-friendly entertainment. Unlike some of the other films on this list, the BFG also had mostly positive reviews on its side. For whatever reason though, more people wanted to see The Purge election year and The Legend of Tarzan over the 4th of July weekend.
Won't be like that. We'll stop the giants. We'll make them go away forever.
Making just over $55 million in North America and $183.3 million in total, the BFG had much smaller returns than expected. Like Willy Wonka, BFG could become a cult classic someday, but it likely won't recoup its $140 million budget anytime soon.
There's only one word for that, Magister. Scrum diddly umptious.
Number 10, Chaos Walking.
So you're not from Earth? Took 64 years to get from Earth to here. I mean, you don't look 64 years old. Yellow hair, pretty. Really pretty. Please ignore that.
People like Spider-Man. People like Star Wars. We think they still like dystopian YA adaptations. Let's throw them all together and let the money flow in. If only the formula for success was that simple. Even before the pandemic was delaying most big-budget movies, Chaos Walking was already in release window limbo as poor test screenings and reshoots spelled doom. When Chaos Walking was finally released in February 2021, 4 years after principal photography started, it felt like the film had been sent adrift on an ice floe.
My whole life you lied to me.
We thought we could protect you.
That's not protecting me, that's lying to me.
I'm sorry. Let me protect you now.
nobody expected it to survive the cold critical reception. With an intake of $27.1 million against at least $100 million, the studio could only take solace in one thing: the almighty write-down. Number 9. Terminator Dark Fate.
Sarah Connor.
I'll kill you! I'll kill you!
Considering that Terminator 2 was the highest grossing movie of 1991, we can understand why Hollywood would want to recapture that magic. After Rise of the Machines, Salvation, and Genesis, though, studios should have learned by 2019 that it's not gonna happen, ever. Regardless, they made another attempt with Dark Fate, which marked the return of Linda Hamilton and James Cameron, albeit not as a director. Although better received than some other sequels, it rehashed most of the same tired plot points with several questionable new ideas thrown in.
Once, I saved 3 billion lives. But I couldn't save my son. A machine took him from me.
The budget of nearly $200 million bit off more than it could chew, reportedly losing the studio $122.6 million. If you think this is truly the end, Cameron says that a reboot is, quote, in discussion. Number 8. Lightyear.
Initiate hyperlaunch.
Certainly.
All right, Space Rangers, here we go.
To infinity?
And beyond.
How could a Toy Story movie possibly flop? Well, by removing most of the toys, substituting the playful tone with gritty realism, and not even bringing Tim Allen back to voice Buzz Lightyear. To its credit, Lightyear featured some stunning animation and intriguing ideas that might have worked fine in
another. John Connor had a female Terminator to protect him in college.
A show? There was a show or a movie? Show or movie?
Their sci-fi picture, just not necessarily one about Buzz Lightyear. What was supposed to be Pixar's grand return to theaters only grossed $226.4 million. That would have been great for the original Toy Story, which cost $30 million in 1995. But this 2022 spin-off came with a $200 million price plus marketing and distribution costs.
What's wrong?
Did you not hear that? She believed I could fix the mistake I made.
Mike has said show it was on Fox in the late 90s,
Following
early 2000s.
its failure, Pixar CCO Pete Docter deduced that the film, quote, asked too much of the audience. Number 7. Tomorrowland. You can never guarantee a hit movie, but Tomorrowland seemed to have all the pieces needed to be one.
Do you want to tell the story?
No, you're doing fine.
Because if you think you could tell the story better, I would absolutely love to hear you try.
Wow, really?
Really?
You had director Brad Bird, who'd seen loads of box office dollars with previous films that included The Incredibles to Mission Impossible, Ghost Protocol. Then you had co-writer Damon Lindelof, best known as one of the creators of Lost. And finally, there was George Clooney in the starring role. And yet, with all those pieces, the film only brought in $209 million. Set against the film's production and marketing budget, that meant a $120 to $150 million loss for Disney.
Why don't we just get you to your amazing dad? Pretend this never happened.
But hey, the film did pick up 3 Teen Choice Award nominations. So, silver lining, right? Number 6.
Really.
Cats.
You've learned enough to take the view. The cats
Jackson Dobbs said
I wonder a lot of furries don't bring up this movie.
Jackson Dobbs said smiling face with
I'm
smiling
surprised
eyes
no
emoji.
furries bring up this movie in the slightest.
Much like you.
The stage version of Cats made almost $4 billion worldwide, breathing new life into the Broadway musical. The cinematic version of Cats was such a catastrophic flop that it probably would have killed the movie musical if Frozen 2 hadn't come out a month earlier. That said,
Damn.
Cats was completely overshadowed by the Frozen sequel, not to mention Rise of Skywalker. Cats is already developing a so bad it's good reputation, not unlike The Room.
You are tearing me apart, Lisa!
Where The Room cost just $6 million to make, however, Cats had a $95 million budget. So it's gonna take a lot of late night screenings and home media sales for this thing to ever show a profit. Universal was estimated to have lost somewhere between $70 and $114 million from the film.
Pretty much.
Ouch.
Which was strange because I think in the Cats musical they actually have cat faces. which is very strange. I think they only didn't put CGIs on their faces is because they want you to recognize who was singing of the actors that was talking. I think that's what it was. I think that was the marketing strategy, because that's why there was a lot of close-up shots in the trailer to let you know who was in the movie.
Number 5, Moonfall.
To find out if you're ready.
Ready for what?
We need a human to lure the swarm away from the core so the moon will return to its orbit. We need you, Brian, to join the fight.
After Son to Leslie, Roland Emmerich's Moonfall, what do they all have in common? They're all technically independent movies. Before you say anything, yes, Moonfall cost a lot more than the aforementioned indies, with its budget ranging from $138 million to $146 million. However, rather than go the traditional funding route for a disaster picture of this magnitude, Emmerich independently financed Moonfall with help from backers like Lionsgate and Wye Brothers.
You know, if Earth gets a second chance, I think we deserve one too.
Why does it like Interstellar?
I'd like that.
Did Emmerich's gamble pay off? Well, Moonfall didn't make back half of its budget, bringing in $67.3 million. It didn't even open number 1, losing to Jackass Forever, which cost just $10 million. If Emmerich wants to save face, he should produce a documentary about how this movie got made, which sounds far more interesting. Number 4, Strange World.
What did it feel like?
And how does it feel?
Feels perfect.
How badly did Strange World bomb? It made even less than Treasure Planet, which came out 20 years earlier. To be fair, the game has significantly changed since then, thanks to the rise of streaming, not to mention COVID. Disney also could have done much more to market Strange World, not receiving the same fanfare as some of their other films. If Puss in Boots: The Last Wish proved anything a month later, though, it's that positive word of mouth can still produce a sleeper hit, even after an underwhelming opening weekend against stiff competition.
You're still here? Okay, one more number. I call this one, The Legend Will Never Die.
The word of mouth simply wasn't there for Strange World. While the film has performed better on Disney+, the financial loss of $147 million will forever be tied to its legacy.
You could be right there with me when I did it. This was supposed to be our legacy. Father and son.
You want to talk about legacy? I'm about to destroy mine.
Number 3, Jupiter Ascending. Walking out of Jupiter Ascending, audiences asked the same question. Somebody paid $176 million to $210 million for this?
You begged me to do it!
I am not your damn mother.
The high investment makes more sense given the involvement of the Wachowskis, the visionaries behind The Matrix. Of course, that revelation comes with another question. The people who brought us The Matrix made this? While the space opera performed better outside of the US and Canada, where it made just $47.4 million, the worldwide total of $183.9 million was a far cry from the franchise starter that the filmmakers were hoping for. We'd like to give the film credit for originality, but the characters, plot, and visuals all feel recycled from superior sci-fi stories.
And I wouldn't blame them either. Besides, I'm still trying to understand exactly what it means myself.
Or maybe it just means that Your Majesty's planet has a different future than the one that was planned for.
And yet, few modern films are more uniquely bad. Number 2, Pan. Speaking of redundant ideas, Pan feels like a Warner Brothers executive said, "We need something to fill the Harry Potter void, and Disney hasn't done a live-action Peter Pan remake yet. Let's strike while the iron is lukewarm at best."
Not gonna lie, both Warner Brothers and Disney fucked that up.
Kneel. I said kneel!
I am the son of a warrior and a prince. I will never bow to you.
Pan abides by the mentality that if something is familiar, audiences will show up in droves. While Hollywood sometimes gets lucky with this philosophy, it wasn't the case for Pan. The studio sank $150 million into the production budget alone, with at least another $100 million going into its marketing. With the break-even point being in the $500 million range, Pan finished with an abysmal $128 million. Peter Pan may be timeless, but this movie epitomized several tropes that became dated years earlier.
You've seen what Blackbeard has done to Neverland already. He'll reduce the rest of it to nothing but mine pits if we don't stop him.
Has anybody ever told you you have really beautiful eyes?
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Mortal Engines. With a production budget somewhere between $100 and $150 million, Mortal Engines was a risky venture for Universal.
Give me everything you have!
When Peter Jackson is attached as a screenwriter and producer, though, a risk can start to seem like a sure thing.
I've heard that before. I just need a little more time. Always so sure of yourself.
Plus, the film was based on a beloved YA novel by Philip Reeve, inviting plenty of franchise potential. The studio knew it was in big trouble when Mortal Engines only brought in $7.5 million over its opening weekend.
Your heart is broken. I will take away the pain.
Things went downhill from there as the film plummeted 77% during its second weekend. Grossing just $83.7 million worldwide, Mortal Engines crashed and burned thanks to unenthusiastic reviews and a crowded holiday season. High post-production costs further contributed to the studio's monumental loss of $174.8 million.
You failed.
Are there any box office duds you think would thrive in a re-release? Let us know in the comments.
Deep down inside, you begin to wonder, has my life been wasted?
Alright guys, we are done. We're gonna go and do Silk Song. Let's go. Alright, so
Fox, lacking the merciless qualities of...
Nope. Alright guys, we're gonna go play Silk Song. I'm gonna still go work on this piece for a good while. Anyway, with that said, I'll be right back. I'm gonna stop the stream and then we'll get things ready. I'll be streaming on TikTok, YouTube, and Twitch. Hopefully it won't be taxing on my computer. I doubt it, but we'll see. So I'll see you guys in a few minutes. I'll be back in like 5-10 minutes. Alright.